Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, October 7th.
Commissioner Ernst,
Here.
Commissioner Engel,
Here.
Commissioner Rollins,
Here.
Commissioner Vogelsang. Here. Commissioner Wright.
Here. Changes to the agenda tonight, as if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to move the North Park Northwest Corner discussion to the #1 spot, if that's okay. Yeah? Okay, we'll do that. Okay, opening up to public requests. So you go to the podium and you state your name and your address, please. And you have
You have 3 minutes to speak.
3 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Denisa Marcinkiewicz. My address is 1675 Northwest 4th Avenue, Boca Raton, Florida. And this is my business partner, Igor Mahmoud.
How are you guys?
Hi.
Yeah, as I said, I'm Denisa Marcinkiewicz. I'm a long-term Boca Raton resident, deeply involved in Boca Raton community, as well as I'm a small local business entrepreneur. I'm interested in vacant courts located at the intersection of Jeffrey Street and Northwest 2nd Avenue. These were part of a bankrupt golf course. I would like to make a proposal for alternative use of these courts to benefit Boca Raton community and its residents. It's generally known that Boca Raton is a capital of tennis in the United States. However, through my experience as a university coach and tennis academy coach, I found out that there are some major issues related to local tennis. First, affordability. Many parents and their kids, they cannot afford tennis academy for themselves. Second, lack of use of new technology and data that serves children on and off the court. And third, lack of female tennis coaches, especially the ones who are holding bachelor's or graduate degrees focused on girl development. I would like to propose to this forum in a follow-up meeting an idea for the next generation of tennis and sports academy focused on children development on and off the court. I'd like to share my plan grounded in the success of my academy focused on girl development. My unique background as an advanced degree holder, professional tennis player, and small business entrepreneur gives my students a unique perspective in sports, team building, and leadership. This also allowed me to develop and attract 20+ students that range from the age of 6 to 16. They all are Boca Raton residents and already have a huge amount of success, not only on the tennis court, but also in school, music, and volunteering advocacy. We would like to replicate and extend this for broader community and make this affordable to local residents. And lastly, in closing, my ask today is threefold. First, the process for making such proposal and work with Boca Raton municipality. Second, the right people that I can work with to submit my plan. And third, 30-minute follow-up opportunity to discuss my plan and collect feedback from the decision makers. Thank you.
Thank you.
So how does this work? Do we wait for the feedback or? Sorry.
If there's a formal proposal, you'd have to submit that to the board. Sam, do you want to weigh in on that process?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm the attorney for the organization. Happy to be here and happy to listen on their behalf. If there's something that you would propose, it has to typically be in writing, has to be something which you would articulate and support in the context of what you're proposing to do. And to that extent, the board can review things consistent with the state law that governs their organization. It's a special act of the legislature. And at the moment, I'm not aware of any specific proposal on the street, so to speak, soliciting proposals. There is a project, there's a statute governing projects, which are called 3P projects, P3 projects, which are public-private partnerships. That's also an option you may want to look at to the extent of offering up your services as such. But the board as a public entity, we're in a public building, public access, public has a right to be here, public has a right to be, make presentations. The end result of which is that, it's open competition. So if you may have a specific quality or skill set that others may also have, and to the extent that others may also propose equally or differently, that's kind of how the competitive selection process occurs, which they're burdened by under state law. Making sole source decisions, which are basically those of selecting one out of many or out of none, depends upon the qualifications and their needs, which are also based on public need. So
That makes a lot of sense. I guess it's a follow-up question.
To go to
to go to the mic, otherwise.
And please be sure to state your name and your address, please.
My name is Igor Malmut. My address is 950 Broken Sound Parkway in Boca Raton. I guess as a follow-up question, one of the things we were asking for is because who are the right constituents or people that you should be working in within the public park district, within the Office of Planning? I guess the first question is informational in nature, who are the right people? And then the second one is, what is the right process for submittal of that data? Right, so there's nothing that we found. Is there a process, is there documentation, the format in which you'd like to receive this?
Madam Chair, may I help you just briefly?
Yes.
There's a person sitting to the chair's right, and that's our executive director, and she essentially is the day-to-day operations director of the organization. This is not the city of Boca Raton. I mean, the city has its own constituency. The constituencies in some respects overlap and are the same, but they have a different special act requirement as to what they can and can't do. What you're talking about is what's called an unsolicited proposal.
Okay.
There's none, that may just indicate for the record, there's nothing on the street, so to speak, for this particular need with a specific location. There is a provision in state law that you can submit an unsolicited proposal, which can then be considered by the board in some legal fashion. But they have to entertain that based upon a written proposal and follow the statute. There is a provision in state law that allows for that to occur under that provision. I'm not aware of any current on the street proposal, but you're certainly entitled to doing so.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
By the way, the director is always available for conversation to the extent that she can be available. She can certainly have a conversation with you. These are all publicly elected officials,
No, I understand. That's,
and they have to respond consistent with the statutes that govern their existence on the dais.
got it.
And please keep in mind, we own that land that's on the east and the west side of that. And on our website, there is a master plan for that property. I don't know if you've seen it. For the east and the west side of that property. Just as that we have laid out for ourselves over the next
Okay.
X number of years.
I believe I saw the plan that's laid out for one part, which is the
The other side of.
what is it called? The paddle?
Yeah,
Right, I think we saw or I think there's a development taking place for one site.
Well, we actually have a master plan
Okay.
for the east and the west side of the
Okay.
property.
Understood.
As it's laid out now. But again, if you have any questions or anything,
They have my email.
Brianne is available.
Okay,
They have
sounds
my
via
good. Thank
email.
you so much
Yeah.
for your time, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Madam Chair, and to our guest tonight, on our agenda was going to be a discussion of a project that would fit that particular area. We had had some concern from residents about the unseemly look of the area. Your project sounds fantastic, and I didn't want you to leave here thinking that we would not consider it. But on our agenda, we do have something we were going to discuss this evening. It's going to be something that's going to be temporary to occupy that space and to dress it up a little bit. So in all transparency, I wanted you to be aware of that. Your timing was a little bit behind the curve here. But it certainly sounds something like that would have been of interest to us. I don't know where this will go because we haven't discussed it among ourselves, but I felt it important to tell you that we did have something on the table that we were going to consider this evening for that space. So
Great, thank you.
you're welcome.
Madam Chair, if I may just very quickly, just to sort of, you don't go into a wild goose chase. Write this down. There's a statute that governs unsolicited proposals. Write it down, please. Through the chair, if I may. You can Google it.
Okay.
It's section 255.065, 255.065 of the Florida statutes. that describes 3P projects, both solicited and unsolicited, as they otherwise are defined. And it may give you some guidance as to what the folks sitting to my left and right are constrained by under state law. I can't give you legal advice, but I just gave them some legal discussion.
Okay, and as was stated earlier, we'll be moving the North Park, Northwest Corner discussion to number 1, so. Okay, any other public requests? No, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to go to the microphone. Please state your name and your address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Michael Jeremko. I've spoke a few times to you. I have my proposal for that corner. There's 2 corners that look like a park. They ripped up all that concrete. But I bought a condo 2 years ago, and my corner has 50-year-old concrete and 50-year-old tennis courts that should have been ripped out. And the right way to do it is to rip it out and put grass there, make it look like the other 2 corners. That's the right way to do it. And that would beautify Boca. I'm only looking to clean up this place and make it look nice. I've lived here for 20 years. I work in Boca for 20 years. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna stay in Boca. And the reason why I say this is because I only want to make things right. I want to clean up the place. That's all I want to do. And I want to get off another subject of that corner. Another proposal I have is to repave Second Avenue from Yamato to Jeffrey Street. It's a mess. It needs to be paved. Also, another thing I looked at was the entrance to Boca Chica. The sign, the wall on the right side needs to be painted. It needs to be lightened up a little. The lights have to be repaired. And well, that's my proposal about the corner. I don't see any work getting done. And I'd like to have it, like I said, the right way to do it is to get some bulldozers, get the concrete out of there, and plant some grass and make it look like the other 2 corners. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comments? No? Okay, closing public requests. We'll do approval of the minutes of the previous board meeting held on September 16th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang. Yes. Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
And we'll also do the approval of the minutes of the final trim compliance hearing held on September 16th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang. Yes. Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to regular business, and we'll do the North Park Northwest Corner discussion. Yeah.
Commissioners, page 74 of your agenda packets is a memo outlining the history of this corner, which we've just been talking about briefly at the last couple of meetings. We had our resident come in and talk about it. Commissioner Rollins mentioned that he's driven by it several times. We've all seen it. Certainly is a corner that needs to be updated based on the other 2 corners. The problem with irrigating that particular corner, the plan for that on our conceptual plan was to have it grassed over, but right now to do that would require us getting irrigation underneath Jeffrey Street. And obviously that's an expense and a time constraint that I don't think we're ready to go into right now. It'd be better to wait and do that when we build that side out. The conceptual plan had called for a golf element over there, which included a water feature, which was going to help irrigate that corner area. As it stands right now, even a well is not an option because it's an old golf course, and we've all seen what's had to happen on the east side with the soil samples and testing for arsenic and things like that. So we're not allowed to water with wells in that area. So we spoke with the city, part of our ILA on that west side, because we don't own that property. The city currently owns that property. Part of our ILA has us obligated to work with them and make sure they agree with everything. I spoke with the city manager, the deputy city manager, and the memo I outlined that conversation. One of the concepts we talked about was a traffic garden. and they are willing to help us get that up and running to help beautify that corner. So if this board wants to support that idea, we would just work on getting the quotes to resurface those courts and restripe the parking lot. And we work on having that set up out there.
You need a motion?
We do.
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion to pursue beautifying that corner with your concept.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion on this? Anybody have any questions?
No, I,
Yeah.
and
Sorry, Steve, go first.
With Michael's suggestion in mind, the reason we're not doing, just to edify a little bit, the reason we're not doing it that way is, from what I understand, it would cost us several $100,000 to build an irrigation system to water the property. And in our master plan, we have other uses in mind that will, of course, beautify the property. So at least my feeling is, I can't speak for the other commissioners, but to spend that kind of money for something that might be there for a couple of years is, that's asking a lot from us. It's not the best way we can use taxpayer money. So we came up with this idea. The city is willing to help us. It's not going to cost us a lot. People will be able to benefit. Kids will be able to use it. And when the time comes, when we own the property and we're able to do something, which will be in the next few years, then we can turn our attention to what needs to be done in the context of the entire property and the master plan.
I was just gonna say, similar to what Steve said, we were looking for something temporary to put there where it didn't take, a huge amount of money that would really be useless in 2 to 3 years, because as we developed that portion of the west side, and I think this will be an asset to the younger community that have in learning safety rules and that nature. And having seen the prototype that Brianne sent to me, it looked like a very good project for us on a short-term basis until we can decide, as we all know, things change, and whatever in the master plan also, well, we have in mind and put down those things until we start digging dirt, it's subject to change. And so I think something temporary like this will clean the project up. It'll look nice. It's going to be functional. It's going to be usable and provide an asset to the young kids who are learning to ride bikes and the rules of the road, so to speak. And then perhaps you can pass along the comment to the city, Brianne, that Second Avenue, which is their project, they need to do something with it, because I know our chair rides that road periodically, and so do I, and it does need some help there. But
Dodge the potholes.
and dodge the potholes, and hopefully this project I think will turn out to be something nice it'll dress up that corner. And give us time to finish up the east side, and then have time to further decide what's going in there and spending the money in a productive fashion that wisely use of the taxpayers' funds, which is always our concern.
Yep. Okay, anybody else? Nope. Okay, we just need a roll call. on that.
Sure. Commissioner Ernst?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to multi-park security improvements.
Commissioners, page 7 of your agenda packets is a brief memo outlining the quote we're looking for an approval tonight as proposed. This will continue efforts. Commissioner Ernst brought this up several years ago to start amplifying security in all of our parks. So we've been doing that. There was a big project last year at Sugar Sand Park, which made Sugar Sand Park one of the most monitored parks, I think, in the city of Boca Raton. So this work order will add the plate readers in and out of both Patch Reef as well as the Swim and Racket Center and add some additional cameras to the parking lots. So tonight, just looking for approval of this as proposed in the packet.
I'd like to make a motion for approval of to proceed with the additional security features at both parks. as
Second.
presented.
Any further discussion? No.
Go ahead.
Okay. Commissioner Ernst.
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to the executive director annual review.
Well, this is awkward. On page 24 of your agenda packets, I typed up a brief memo kind of outlining the process. This was brought up in previous meetings by Commissioner Vogelsang to have on the agenda tonight. So I kind of gave some background information and included the study that was done a couple years ago. And I am here to answer any of your questions. Looks like Commissioner
Bob?
Rollins.
Madam Chair, as the longest member of this committee, our commission, having sat in this chair with other, at least one other executive director and then someone that served in that capacity. I don't think that our operation has been any better in any better hands than what we now have. Just looking back on the things that we have achieved under her leadership, we finally got the tower built. And Brianne stayed after that project. The one that impressed me the most was the work that she did with the 3P on North Park with the pickleball project. That was a complex issue. And listening to our attorneys and talking to them after when we're doing the review of that contract, they were very complimentary about the input that our executive director had provided during that process. I think one of the other great achievements, and that's something that took a lot of time, was the relationship that we have with the city. Has never been better under Brianne's leadership. Having worked for the city for a number of years before she was recruited, wasn't sure whether she could change jerseys or not, but she's done a very good job of having done so. The other big thing that we have accomplished with her leadership is the budgetary process. You all heard me talk about how that was something that took probably several months of contentious meetings with the city. And now in several meetings, we're able to get the budget put together because of the way that it was presented, because of the work that Brianne did with the city and cleaning up some of the issues that she knew was a concern to us. I've also been impressed with staff management. The culture that has been developed has never been better. And looking over the areas that Brianne had suggested to us to review, leadership and strategic vision, A+, financial and budgetary management, A+, communication. There's not been a person that's written any better memos to the city covering our objective. And using an old expression, she's able to step on their toes without messing up their shine. And I think that takes a very special talent to be able to do those kind of things. Between her her taking a special district course for the Florida Special District, between including objectives that she lays out for staff. I mean, the leadership role that she's playing is one that I've come to be very respectful for, and appreciate her taking my phone calls in the morning early. But I just couldn't ask for a better manager of the district. And I've looked over the survey that we did several years ago. It's a couple of years old now of, what compensation others are getting in special districts. And we're at the low end of that scale that we're now compensating our executive director for. And I think it's time that we, improve on that. And I would like to put in a recommendation, and I would make a recommendation that we increase their salary to $155,000 over what it's currently at. And that does not include the cost of living increase that everyone that contractually we're obligated to provide. I couldn't be happier with the results of what we've been able to accomplish with Breanne. And the depth of knowledge that she brings to the table in such a short period of time was far superior than anything that we've had in the past. So my congratulations and thank you, Breanne, for what you've done for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Aside from the fact that you laugh at my jokes, which is important, you've gone above and beyond in every facet of your job. You're proactive. When we have our discussions about the upcoming agenda and projects that we're working on and issues that we're facing, you're already a step ahead. And it's such a refreshing change in this day and age to have somebody that you work with that's proactive instead of reactive. As a commissioner, it makes my job that much easier. Bob put it so well, stepping on people's toes without ruining the shine. You do it and they say thank you
Sometimes.
most of the time. Some of the things that we're getting done, I mean, I see now where we had to fight tooth and nail for things from the city, that they're actually offering this things to us that I never thought they'd offer us before. So kudos, I shouldn't say this, but you're a bargain at twice the price.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you offering
Thank you.
twice the price?
Not personally.
Susie?
Brianne, I know how difficult this is for
It's
you,
very hard.
but you deserve all the recognition, ditto on everything that Bob has said, and plus the initiative you showed with the new state mandates that we're required to exhibit. And you did that so that so many other people are probably going, wow. That was just so impressive to me because I don't know how you even figured out where to start, but I really, really couldn't ask for a better employee. I don't consider you really an employee. I think you're one of our peers, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Could I offer just one more thing too?
Yes.
I've got about is that the transparency that we have now, more people know the district. And it's because of our website presence. It's because of the foresight and putting somebody like Chuck in there to put out articles. I think we're getting our message out to the public. And I think the transparency in a political sense is extremely important, that we be an open book. And I think that, you've nurtured that. And I think I'm grateful for what we've been able to accomplish, because years ago, people would think that I worked for the city when I'm actually a commissioner on the beach and parks. And the distinction, I'm happy to say, is common today. And it's in no small part to your efforts to bridge the gap with our city council and with the city manager. So thank you.
Thank you.
Craig?
Well, first I want to tell Bob, I told you so, last time when we went to this, we were talking about a different salary range, but I think Brianne has lived up to everything, more than lived up to everything, and has really done a great job of implementing what the district wants and balancing everything out. So thank you, Brianne, for all you've done and kind of herding all the cats and kind of making it all work one way or another. So from that perspective, it's pretty good. But I think the important part is to talk about the salary proposal. And I certainly agree with the increase of the salary proposal. I guess my question would be is, looking at a range, there's average, if there's a high, there's a low. The 155 is slightly below the average. I was thinking somewhere in between that 155 and 164.5. So either going up to the average where it is what I was thinking, or 160. To me, I would just say make it a little bit more. Would you consider that?
Absolutely.
And keep in mind, this is an average from 2 years ago.
Agreed. So that's my
Right.
point. So
So let's make it 164 and make it average. You're not average.
you're not average. So the intent is to keep Brianne here, not to let her go. And I think it's, I've seen it in my own world where, people leave and you say, I really wish I didn't let them go. If I had more control over things, I wouldn't let them go because they're value added. And I think we really want to keep Brianne here to represent an important part of the community, not just the district, but it's a part of the community. It keeps it all together. So I'd be happy to support, moving it up to that one. Let's make it an even number, 165. Would that be okay?
I love that.
So, okay, there you go.
Yes.
I just want to let Craig know that my wife tells me I told you so many times. So I would certainly support that number. And
Okay, so you're making a motion?
making a motion that we adjust the annual salary to our executive director to 165,000 per annum.
Second.
That would be an amended motion?
Amended
I
motion.
never got a second. to
Yeah,
that.
you were close.
You're close.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And second,
Whoever.
Second.
okay, Steve. Any further discussion? Nope, and I have nothing to say because I talk to her every day. So she knows how well she does, and you guys have said everything that needs to be said. So thank you, Brianne, and yes, so we'll do it.
Okay. Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Absolutely.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you all very much. I have some comments. I'll wait till the end of the meeting to give those, so. Thank you all. I appreciate that very much.
Okay,
Okay.
moving on to number 3, the Matisse agreement.
Page 33 of your agenda packets is a renewal of the Matisse agreement. They've been working with the district for over a decade now. We utilize their services first for bookkeeping, but they've also been our payroll processor for the last couple of years. So this agreement renews them for 1 year. Just looking tonight for approval of this as presented. Looking for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Nope. Roll call.
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to the Patrick Park splash pad surface discussion.
Commissioners, page 49 of your agenda packets is a memo kind of highlighting some concerns that I had after hitting up some of our splash pads, including the one we have here. It has Aquaflex on it. We've used Aquaflex on a lot of our splash pads everywhere. It actually does get pretty hot, and Florida is only getting hotter. There is a new material that they make now called Life Floor, and I have samples for everybody. They're at your stations, kind of sitting up somewhere. But anyway, this is the Life Floor material. So I don't know if you guys remember like the splash pad that's at Patch Reef or the one at Sugar Sand or the one downstairs, but it's a lot more grainier, and some of those materials break off into our pumps and cause a lot of maintenance issues, ongoing maintenance issues. So the idea was I had Melissa talk to Shift Construction, and they kind of gave some alternatives to Aquaflex. And one of them is this. So tonight, I would like, if the board would consider something different, I mean, I pose we could stick with Aquaflex, which was in the specifications. We could stick with that as is. But I wanted the board to consider changing it to this. It would be an additional cost to the project of $63,369.60. And if the board wants to move forward with that, we'll come back with a change order. I just wanted to get some feedback tonight and discussion. It wasn't something that we have to do. It's just something that I thought we should consider doing for this particular playground.
Do we have any other places, municipalities that have used it?
No, we've talked to staff who've reached out to other places, nothing around here necessarily that has it. You know, obviously anything in Florida, because of our extreme heat, it's very difficult to say, you know, this has a warranty just like Aquaflex. Of course, it's going to be maintained differently. There's certain maintenance instructions, and the city staff has been fine with the maintenance specifications that it has. They said that they can manage that. But in Florida, in general, our heat and the wear and tear on our playgrounds, because our playgrounds are used year round, they just take a lot more of a beating, so to speak. So there's going to be some wear and tear, and it's going to not necessarily always meet those manufacturer standards. But I do think this would be something, this would be the playground to use this at, and it also stays cooler. And I think that's important too. I've been to a lot of splash pads lately. Been to ones with just pavers, one with concrete. And then of course, a lot of Aquaflex is used, but a lot of Aquaflex you find is broken up everywhere, and it's hard to patch up. You put in the fill and you let it sit there and fill up. One of the comments that I talked with Commissioner Ernst on was making sure this is easy to fix so it doesn't look mismatched or things like that. So it is easier to put down new pieces. Yes.
What is the warranty on this?
Is it the same as Aquaflex?
I don't want to misspeak, so I don't want to speak
off the
top of my head.
I feel like it was the same as what we've had in Aquaflex, but I don't know the number of years. It's not a lot. And of course, all of those warranties are subject to extreme heat, and Florida is always extreme heat. And that kind of negates a lot of warranty coverages sometimes.
So what's the lifetime?
Oh, I mean, lifetime, we're always going to have to replace our splash pads. I mean, the one downstairs that's what 5 or 6 years old needs to be replaced. So we're going to have to replace it just like we would any other. It's not going to last longer than Aquaflex, for
And
sure.
is it in tiles or is it in rolls? Or
It's in like pieces, tiles.
okay.
Yeah.
And it can be repaired then?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but the warranty, is that the warranty?
Mhm.
Because it's always, there's conditions of the warranty, and I don't want to say that our temperatures and some of the conditions in Florida weather is
Right,
gonna,
included.
yeah, yeah.
I guess, you know, I don't know if you need
Yeah.
I don't know if you need a motion to move forward, but I'm very supportive of it because as we all know, the barrier-free playground is oriented towards children with some forms of disability, and sensory is a big part of it.
Yes.
And certainly if you have if you can get better than what you got, I'm all in. So even if it costs a little bit more, the advantage of this, I think, is the fact that it comes down in tiles and it can be shaped in different forms. You can probably replace sections in different pieces easier. Whereas with the current mesh type stuff they glue down, it's all or nothing. You know,
Right.
you don't get to, you have to redo everything all at once. So this is, it may or may not work out, but I think it looks like a good product that I think would be worthy of trying.
Okay. I would just come back with a change order at the next meeting just to formalize the,
So
Support.
do we need a motion?
Hold on, he's got a question.
You know, the thing that if you can believe everything it reads, it's slip resistant, which is what I like.
yes.
You know, just rubbing my fingers over it. It's not so granular that it's, if you were to fall, you're going to get scuffed up.
Yes.
But also, I think it offers some stability. It also is impact absorption, which I think is good for the people who are going to be using it. How do you clean the surface? I mean, if
So
it's-
there is a special treatment that you have to use to clean it. We can't pressure wash it. So that's one of the things, but the city staff said that they would follow those things to keep the warranty up. And I think Melissa found it's 5 years with the extreme temperatures is the warranty, so.
I'm with Craig. I think it's something that's perfect for the people that are going to be using it, and I would support that, change order or whatever we need to do.
Okay, you brought up a good point. The material that Aquaflex is, it is grainier, and when kids do fall, I mean, I have one that the scratches and the scrapes are they happen with that. So this will be less likely. So we'll come back with an official change order at the next meeting. I don't know, Sam, if I need a motion for that, if I'm coming back with formal.
Madam Chair, if I may, you can be guided by the conversation. and
Okay.
Bring it back at the next meeting
Thank you.
to agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, moving on to the rink cover design proposal for Sugar Sand Park.
Commissioners, on page 51 of your agenda packets is the proposal from KCI. And this proposal is for the cover at Sugar Sand, at the multi-sport rink at Sugar Sand Park. One of the, a couple things I just want to point out on this proposal, it does include some construction management. We also made sure to build in an, where they will come back with 2 concepts to show you all. And so that you all will have some insight and some oversight on how it's developed. They're also going to make sure that they use input from the public. I know a couple of you have had some people that are interested in putting forth what they think is important to have out there. So they will meet with those key stakeholders to make sure that we cover the things that the public needs for their sports. And then, of course, the biggest thing to me is having those concepts come back to a public meeting so that you all can weigh in on what you like and don't like and make sure we have the right thing out there for everybody. So tonight, looking for a motion to approve this, and we'll get started with KCI.
I'll make the motion to approve the multi-sport rink cover design proposal.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Yeah, just a question, Brianne.
Mhm.
The total cost of services it includes construction management, ensures the project's not only well designed, but executed with effective oversight and helps manage its risk. So it doesn't include the actual.
Not the building. This is just the design, and then they'll come to bid documents. We'll bid it out. The construction will be a separate cost. This
Okay,
is just design, and then they'll help manage because we'll have an engineer sign off on the work that's done out there with the footers and the roof and
right.
yeah.
Okay, so that's separate, the engineer signing off on things too?
that's part of this.
That's part of
Yes,
this, so they will include that.
correct.
And then this 2 designs, just to understand that, I mean, I think of FP&L light posts, it's ugly and uglier. I mean, are we gonna get something nice?
They're
out of
going to
this?
be
How do we
nice and
cut-
nicer.
Okay,
I'll make sure they're nice and nicer.
okay, so they'll do a good job, and if we don't like any of the options, we tell them, look, you gotta work on this a little bit more.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
not sure I like the idea of being pinned down for 2 when it's 100 or 432,000, but
No, we will make sure that it's a very lovely
okay. Okay.
facility.
Okay, anybody else? Nope. Okay, roll call.
Roll call. Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, approval of payroll and invoices.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval of payroll and invoices in the amount of $2,214,987.76.
Second.
Yes. Joanne?
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Ray.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving on to reports and discussion items. Brianna?
Commissioners, just a couple of updates. As you all know, you maybe follow the city alerts. I would highly recommend anybody listening tonight, if you don't subscribe to the resident text notifications, you can on the myboca.us website, and they'll send you updates on the storm and anything that may be pertinent to the Boca Raton residents. I think that's important to do. Right now, I know the city was just shuttering some buildings that don't have the hurricane windows as a precaution, but otherwise have not heard about closures yet. Your beach permits were distributed tonight, so you all can go to the beach if there's ever a non-rainy day to do that in the near future. The column repair at Sugar Sand Park is moving through permitting. We're just waiting on city staff to finish their review of the workflow schedule. We're working on signage. Commissioner Vogelsang brought up having signs at North Park and Patch Reef Park. We worked with the city staff to get those approvals because it's temporary signage. So we were supposed to have the sign at Patch Reef installed tomorrow. Obviously, probably won't happen until Milton is done wreaking havoc on the state. So we'll get that sign out there as soon as we can. The DeHornley Maintenance Building is moving along. They were working on utility connections, and that was underway. And then I just wanted to add a few comments tonight. I wanted to thank the board for considering my performance evaluation, and I want to thank everybody. You know, in 2019, you all took a chance on me, and I appreciate the faith that you continue to have on me, and for giving me the opportunity to take the board in a new direction and take the district forward. Commissioner Rollins, your wisdom and your connection to the history of the district has been invaluable to me. I've learned a lot from you, and I continue to be inspired by your perspective. I also learned a lot about Alabama and different ways to say things. Commissioner Ernst, you've taught me that I have more patience than I knew I had, and I'm grateful for that. And I say that with all the respect in the world. You constantly push me to think of every detail, and that's made me a better leader, and I'm grateful for that. Commissioner Engel, your support, your compassion, particularly for our vulnerable residents, has been a guiding reminder of why we do what we do, and I appreciate you for that. Commissioner Vogelsang, I don't know how many times you've walked me off the ledge, but I am so happy. I have a hard time when people tell me no, and she always helps me find a new way around that when I'm frustrated or I have obstacles in the way. And your calm, practical approach always gets me through those situations, so thank you for that. Chair Wright, our friendship and our debates, both district topics and non-district topics, have been fun and invaluable often. And your commitment to ensuring like the staff contains a high morale has also been helpful for me as a leader with the staff. And to my staff, which are specifically Melissa Dawson and Joanne, you guys are the backbone. What did I say it wrong? Oh, you didn't want to be pointed out. Gotcha. They really are the backbone of the district, and they continue to grow into the roles as the district grows. They've also grown and evolved. We're like a very small group, but we're always together, and we celebrate each other's successes both in and outside of the district. And I think that's so important. And it has made coming to work every day a pleasure. So thank you both. I also want to thank Chuck and Merv, who are incredibly responsive, even though I'm not as responsive to them. They always want to see the district be successful, and their dedication to what they do for the district does not go unnoticed. And last, but certainly not least, our legal staff have provided invaluable insight along the way over these last several years to me. They've been a guiding light through some complex legal issues and things that I wasn't sure that we would know, like get through. I didn't know how to navigate certain things, but you all are always there with the answers and help me find the way. So thank you. And of course, Sean too. I don't want to leave him out, but
Thank you very, very much.
he does support as well. So I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time tonight to talk about my performance, for recognizing the work that I do. And I couldn't do it without the staff. But thank you all for all you do for this community as well.
Cheers.
And that's it. Everybody stay safe.
Okay. District Council, do you have anything?
I do, Madam Chair. While sitting here this evening, I just received a copy of an order signed by Kevin Guthrie, who's the State Coordinating Officer for the Florida Division of Emergency Management as of today. Meetings such as this under Chapter 189, which is the statute that governs special districts, may be conducted outside of being in person. They're going back to the pre-COVID days where you can actually meet, at least on a very temporary basis, with regard to the incoming tropical storm and hurricane. The state has waived in-person meetings and quorums. You still have to have a meeting which can be conducted, in a virtual fashion, consistent with the Sunshine Law, Public Records Law, but they just entered an order literally minutes ago with regard to allowing, not, you're already here, so it's done, but for the future, during the temporary nature of the hurricane that's forthcoming, would waive the in-person requirements. Just let you know. Other than that, there's nothing to report except to update you at the next meeting on the status of litigation, which we can talk about then. Otherwise, I wish you all a very safe trip home and also safe travels over the next number of days. Based on what I'm reading, it looks like the state's hunkering down. So thank you all very much. And Brianna, as a matter of personal note to you, it's been our sincere pleasure and honor to work with you these last couple of years. And we appreciate the fact that you are receptive to our legal advice when given. and are certainly a creative source to all of us, learning more about what we do here every day because of you, not in spite of you, but because of the things that you do to make things right. So thank you for that very much. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yep. Okay. Go ahead, Susie. You want to go first?
Brianne, I'm just tickled to death that you're our executive director and we do have such a great staff. Chuck, thank you for all your insight and your creativity on the communications. It's really gotten into the community and we appreciate what you're doing. So I do hope everybody stays safe, stay inside, do what you can, for your families, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, Bob.
I think I've said all I can say.
Got it. Craig?
Nope, second everything that's been said so far. One thought though is, I guess I would leave it at the discretion of the director. It might be worthwhile, if this storm is as bad as it says it is, and if it drifts further south, I think it would be beneficial to take advantage of that Zoom type call.
It's allowed.
And
Yes.
I mean, for a post-storm, if there is significant damage to parks
Yes.
and changes for Boca Raton, I think we should have, a Zoom call, or we're all pretty close. We can come to the meeting, I guess, but we should have a meeting so that we're abreast of what needs to be done and give you direction, resources, whatever we can do to help support the effort.
I do think Wednesday and Thursday, and even maybe tomorrow, that staff can maybe work from home so that everybody can get their, it'd probably be like, I don't even haven't been to the gas station yet. My bad. But like, so they can prepare ahead of time. And then obviously, I don't know if we're gonna lose power, whatever, but I know school's out Wednesday and Thursday for sure.
It is out?
Yeah.
Confirmed? Okay. Tuesday's out, right?
No, but Tuesday we're in school.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
that-
we are
that's
in
great.
school.
That's all I need to know. Tuesday, I'm doing one day at a time. Tuesday they're in
Wednesday
school.
and Thursday is already canceled
Okay.
because they know how bad it's gonna be. So
I
I
can change my mind on
suggest,
that though.
they're not changing their mind. Once they cancel, it's canceled. That's it. But I just thought, for tomorrow, work from home, and then Wednesday and Thursday home, obviously. So
If the Zoom meeting has to take place, don't we have to give the public notice?
Well, I don't know with the executive order how that works.
The requirements of notice have not changed.
Okay.
It's just the in-person activities are allowed to be conducted without being physically present. And quorum can be conducted online.
So how much time do we have to give the public?
I think it's 72 hours.
Correct,
Oh, okay.
at least.
Just one observation. I know Joanne's gonna be very busy with the checks and with all the banking stuff is still working. So that happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, phone as best you can, but a check is a check. It's gotta be put in the mail and it goes with it.
well, I'm sure if you need to come in, you can come in, obviously, but
It
we'll
takes
give
a
them the
couple days to
option,
register.
Yep, of
um,
course.
go ahead, Steve.
I just want to say again, Brianne, thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you.
As Susie said, it's really a pleasure having you as our executive director.
Thank you. I'm not going to fit out this door tonight.
And Chuck, just want to say that when I start getting phone calls about things that are in the newsletter, that means you're doing a good job. So thank you. And other than everybody, please stay safe. I'm good.
Okay, okay.
Are we ready? No, Erin. you're not
I
done?
have nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm good. I've said, what I need to say, and
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
yes,
Motion passes.
we are adjourned.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Good meeting, well done. Stay safe.